All right. Welcome back, everyone, to A Programmer Plays Submerged Hidden Depths. In our previous episode, we found this lookout. We found a few items around here. There's some things that we can get like this, and I believe we saw something further over there, or maybe it was closer by. Um, we found a few things on our map, which is exciting, but I think what we'll do I think what we'll do to start with is go grab this to start with, and then grab this guy. Can I? No, okay. I was kind of wondering if I could fast travel to landmarks. I am not surprised that we cannot. I was thinking we'd go grab those two boat upgrades, but then start this episode out with unlocking a new seed. Dungeon, temple, I'm not quite sure what to call them. Islands that have seeds on them. And just see how we get on. Because I don't want, the situation where it feels like I'm dragging my feet, but at the same time, I don't want the situation where we get to the end of the game and we've got a whole bunch of stuff to find, and we spend a lot of time just like poking around, looking and not finding what we're looking for. Particularly since that's basically what happened at the end of last episode, where we spent a fair bit of time, more time than I intended, poking around and just honestly not succeeding at finding the last little thing. You know what? We will. Just since we're basically here already, we'll go ahead and do this brother island. That won't take us long. Alright, looks like we've got a thing we'll need to pull. Huh, interesting. I'm guessing that our docking point is over here. Guessed wrong. Over there. Okay. Yeah. Oh, we actually have to pull down a little fortification. Okie dokie. Here we are. I wonder what the X is intended to communicate. It's interesting because we get this contrast between the brother islands and the main islands. You can really see how like the playstyle is different. It is so quick to just run through these islands as the brother, and not just not worry about it, right? Like we're not gonna miss any little secrets or anything. Let me on down. All objects discovered. There we go. Okay, so the X indicating that we can't jump up to that ladder. I don't know if that's necessarily intuitive, but it's fine. Just for the sake of having done it. And then the other one that we need here. So that's actually... still not showing up on our There it is, hiding. Man, I would love if this, if the compass bar at the top had a notch right in the middle. I get why it doesn't, but something to help you know that you're like completely squared up on it would be just phenomenal. All right, and then this is also something that we haven't done. We're gonna scan around a little bit. Cool, another landmark, which is interesting. I guess we'll go ahead and get that while we're passing along. Alright, where's our docking spot? There we go. That looks like a docking spot.
Yep.
And for the record, I think it's good that we've got both the brother and the sister sections kind of showing the two sides. And, you know, I'm sure that everyone will end up having a preference one way or the other. But even if you prefer one style over the other, having both gives contrast and lets you appreciate more what you're doing when you're doing your favorite of the two. If you just did one, it would get too samey, and that was, you know, one of the complaints about the original Submerged, is that it felt very one note. And so by having, you know, the kind of alternating notes here, where we're doing a brother style bit and then doing the sister style bit, it adds contrast and makes both more fun. Much the way that, you know, in an RPG you alternate between, you know, being in the overworld, being in a dungeon, or being in battle, not being in battle. Or with Metroidvanias, where you're alternating between, all right, I've got the item, I know where to go, and I don't have the item, I don't know where to go, I'm just casting around randomly. It helps games have that contrast between different playstyles, even if, you know, you ask the audience and they're like, oh yeah, I definitely prefer this bit. I really prefer fighting the bosses over exploring in Hollow Knight, right? Or I really prefer the exploring over fighting the bosses. It doesn't matter which way. By having both, you add the contrast and the variety, and it just makes it better. Hey, there we go. Completed a quartet. Is there a quick way down here? Looks like there would be. Yeah, there it is. They're pretty good and consistent about it. Okay, and now I'm recognizing the language now, where I can see the X telling me, like, oh, there's a one-way shortcut. I didn't even register these being over there when I was here previously. Alright, let's look at this landmark, which is... What am I looking at here? A gigantic Athenian head, I guess. I like that the camera went kind of over the mother's gaze, went over the island there, went between the trees. That's fun. All right, bump. Done that one. This is where we're headed. Double checking. Oh, yep. Oh, is this a... Hold on. Why didn't this get highlighted? Oh, it did, and I'm dumb. Oh, this one looks cool, though. Oh, it's cool that the sister, like, switches around and, like, moves and animates while we're driving. Alright, so not that way. We've learned. We've learned. The X means dead end. Wonder if I can apply those lessons to the sister. Probably not, honestly. I'm betting that the sister sections don't, Huh, that's interesting that we needed to go up and over in order to go down. I'm betting that the sister sections won't have the X's because they're more inclined towards... Well, they might have some, but they're more inclined towards letting you progress backwards through areas once you've opened the shortcuts. Which I appreciate, because the progressing backwards is a good way to spot the hidden little things that are in corners behind you, right? Bit of environmental storytelling with the broken ladder there.
Nama Pebo.
34:56. We're making headway. Some slightly strange orientation stuff happening there. All right. Ah, a lookout. Do we want to grab the lookout before we go into the area? Yeah, that might be good. Is this the first time we've done one of these with the tin boat skin? Diving helmet, that's funny. Vroom. Some boobies. Choppy over here.
What a lead.
Vroom. Again, I wonder, like, is this storm scripted for this area, or is it just coincidence? I'm betting that the storm is coincidental. If we return to this area, we'll find out. 6 items added to map. Wow. Yeah, okay. So, little thing there. Ooh. Several things here. We can see that there's a flower that we need to get. What's interesting is that flower pretty transparent already. But I guess it's not grayed out, so that's why it's not. Interesting that we... There must be a lookout over here that we haven't found. That we haven't, like, not only have we not found the flower, but we haven't even, like, seen a thing. That's interesting. I appreciate the visual detail of we get water on the camera lens, finger quotes, in addition to like seeing the raindrops go by. Very cool.
Got gone.
Let's see if we can get our hands on that boat upgrade, because it should be just right here. Can I drive under this? Wow. Was not expecting that. Quite cool.
Barbas.
See that we'll need to pull this. Very recognizable immediately. I'm very curious as to how they managed to blend, like how they chose to implement blending the water intensity. Thwaites Center. Thwaites Center?
EQ Balbec.
Yes.
That's so sneaky the way that this pole is positioned so that you don't see it right when you come up. You have to look. Not just glance, look. Climber style. Oh, that sounds cool. Shit. Immediately thwarted. Was not expecting that. Hold on. This isn't a... Okay, there's even a little glyph there showing pull it down with the boat. Shit, does that suggest that we've done this out of sequence? We needed to pull that down before we pulled the boat bit over? Nah, we're good.
Yo.
If I had to guess about how they did the water, I'm betting that the water is driven by a height map, right? Like a big black and white texture. Jesus, look at that. Look at how that having a bad time there. The debris. I'm betting that the water is driven by a great big old height map and, you know, a black and white texture where white means as high as it can go, black means as low as it can go. And it translates that into the mesh, right? That's how it gets to the graphics card. And that texture is updated as you move around. There might be multiple textures which are sort of swapped in and out. And in each region, that texture has like an overlay that gets painted onto it. So like this building would have like essentially a black smudge that goes onto it that says like, all right, or a gray smudge, I should say. It says like, all right, you can't be that wavy inside of this particular spot. And then because it would be smudged, because it would be blurred around the edges of where that spot is, that would blend smoothly into the bigger waves over there. And then there's probably a similar thing with the smaller waves that are getting applied based on how choppy it is. That's how I would do it. There's one of the things about programming, right, is that there's a million ways to solve basically every problem. Oh, slightly stuck. And there's different trade-offs for all those different ways. And sometimes the trade-offs are not worth it. Sometimes they don't work at all. Figuring out which trade-offs you're willing to live with. A lot of the fun of programming, honestly. Squirrels? Yeah, giant squirrels. Huh.
C'est strange.
Squirrels. Alright, so we've got a few options here. We can go this way. Very cool that we're actually climbing around on the sign. Which actually very strongly suggests that there's no localization for these names. It would be very, like, it wouldn't be that big a deal if you're like, okay, well, this is the Jones building, whereas in Japanese, it's the, I don't know. I don't know what the Japanese equivalent of Jones would be. The Miyamoto building. And you just switch out a font and project it into 3D, and it's no big deal. But if you've got players actually climbing around on it, then yeah, you would want it to be the same in every language. Are these sad remnants? It's a smaller version of the giant monster. Okay, so that actually that suggests something about how this game's put together. Specifically, it suggests to me that her musings are not based on the location, but based on what you've found so far. Like where you are in the story. And so you would have just like a flag, like an environmental, like, okay, let her do her musing right about here. I don't understand yet what the red paint on the walls means. Okay. I thought maybe we could hook the ball onto that seed, but nope, that's not the case. Oopsie daisy. X's there. Interesting. I'm curious about those X's. I wonder if they'll stop being X's once we've replanted the seed. Still pretty grossed out by her arm flowering like that. I did not press A there, for the record. The way they're staggering away from me is really interesting. Oops. Trying to see if the flowering effect follows that, but I couldn't quite see one way or the other. Interesting that we have yet to find any ore snippets. obviously we could, if we so chose, follow... Or did we, and I'm just an idiot and forgot? Do not rule it out. Obviously, there is in the compass, we can look and see kind of where they are at, but... Place it. Okay, so this is a coming back home little route, not a choice at the moment. So there's some more there. Alright, yeah, I wasn't wrong. We did not have found any lore. I can speak. It's cool that we've got, like, these rivulets of water coming down the side of the building. I appreciate that a lot. That's very cool. So do we think, then, does that strengthen the suggestion that the weather in this area is always rainy, or do we think that that just shows that the dev team is very thoughtful and deliberate with their texturing and made it so that every area can have water running down the walls? That would be pretty impressive if they did. That is a not insignificant amount of labor. Wow, no. Bit of a shame. It would be interesting to graph these areas out, where it showed, like, that little section was, you know, the whole little branch that doesn't connect onto the main path. It just goes out to those little optional collectibles, and that's it. It's interesting. And then same thing with this. So it's a branch with branches. Or am I wrong and I went the wrong way? Did I overlook a elevator? I must have. Right. If I was an elevator, where would I be? Right there. Okay. I legitimately had forgotten about this in the span of the, 2 minutes that it took me running around there. Is there a thingus for this? There should be somewhere. Here. Right. I enjoy that they're doing this, where they say, "Ha, here's a collectible, but you can't actually get to it yet. Let's go around." Little smidge. They're gonna be for both? No, just for one. But, okay, I'm betting we take this over there. In fact, I'm willing to bet that that's the critical path. We might be about to double back in just a second to look for other upgrades. Check this first before we... Yeah, that's 100% the critical path. Now we've looped all the way around. Go down here, I believe. This will be where the seed is. I love this waterfall here. The top of the building. That's very cool. Puppies. Doing that. Switch back. So we could go ahead and put that in there. We're gonna wait a second because I want to loop around, double check for any other secrets, and do the little climbing. So, interesting. Not actually the critical path. Sorta. Very sorta. Like it was the critical path, and that we needed to go over there in order to lower that drawbridge in order to get the seed over, but this bit right here, not critical path. Okay. Tricky. I might even say trollish.
That's three.
Get all the way on top? And that... Oh, here we go. How did I miss this ladder? It's right here. I do worry that I'm gonna get a bunch of comments on YouTube saying like, brother, are you colorblind? Like, how are you overlooking these hints? It's right there. What are you doing? It's right there. Maybe if we get... So, I don't think I've actually shown this on camera yet. You can just change the color to be other things. I left it at red, but we could turn it to something else, and that might actually be a good idea for when we we get to the end of the game, just to see, like, hey, was it that the red was blending into other stuff? You know, blending in with the sunset or whatever. This feels very Tomb Raider all of a sudden. You know, Tomb Raider 2013 when she's climbing up the radio tower. Oh, is this gonna be the highest point in the game? Possibly. Oh, there we go.
Apple Street.
Fetech. It's slightly weird, actually, that we... Like, I guess we probably could have flagged that. But, like, we're so high up that I think that we're not actually, like, able to get very many things. I mean, that feels... I mean, we can see the red paint from here. Why aren't I flagging that? Get a step lower. Another step lower. Weird. I find it quite strange, actually, that we could tag that boat bit, but not that presumed collectible. Alright, well. Over. Not done as good a job as I had hoped. Haven't gotten the flower, and we're still missing a style piece. I bet I actually even know where the flower was. Being up here, though, might be a good way to sort of triangulate the flower. If I go over here to the easternmost side, is due west. If I go over here, northernmost side, south. And then, if we go over to the westernmost side, probably right up there, honestly. Well, let's take a quick look-see, see if... So, according to this, it is directly beneath me. Because now it's that way. somewhere. I mean, it's just got to be some spot that I've overlooked where you can go into the tower a little bit. That's interesting, though. I would have assumed that it would be on the outside of the tower. I've got a theory about where it might be, but a bit earlier where I was saying, like, oh, look how it branches around. Alright. Go ahead and finish off this area. Then maybe we'll go back to the cathedral and try our luck at finishing up that area. Might have been faster to go the other way. I think I've come a long way around. Uh-oh. Come on. The flower could be down at the base level. Hadn't really considered that. In each village, they were pursued and cast out, until finally, desperate to explain, the brother was hurt. This poor kid has just such a rough go of it.
Miku no monster.
I am no monster. I have to keep going to fix everything. Interesting. Neat. The gallery there is quite interesting because those, as far as I can tell, are not items that are used anywhere else in the game. Like, those are just there to be rewards.
Go.
Elton.
Alright, let's, I am surprised. Let's go to the cathedral to start with. See what we can find.
Leave you back.
Yes.
We don't have the flower marked on our compass here, which again sort of reinforces this idea that I've missed a lookout somewhere nearby that would help me out. Alright, there's one. Football style. Kind of wish that the ledges didn't glow because I find them they're kind of acting as red herrings, right? I see the glisten and I'm like, ooh, there we go. That's where I need to go, and then it's not. Like it is, but it's not what I'm looking for. All right, so that one over there. Never walked around this corner and grabbed it? Right here. Part of what I'm worried about with the whole, like, maybe I have overlooked really obvious things. Gonna be on this sequence, but I'm gonna do it again anyways, just to be, I don't know. Honestly, this place I feel like is kind of harder to traverse. Or not harder to traverse, but like kind of more complex feeling than it was originally. Because of how, you know, the bits reconnect on themselves. Not lore here. Is there anything else on this bit? Look like it. Not hiding in the corner there. Ah. Alright, so we're down to a flower and a shell. Alright, let's do climb up the tower more, I guess. There's also that bit where we could have ridden an elevator. Maybe I should give that another shot. Can I climb up this pipe? Can I do this section backwards? No. Anyone else do the thing where when you're trying to look at stuff in games, you find yourself like actually literally moving your neck around? As if it's going to make any difference to your screen whatsoever. Alright. That's a ledge glistening there. Got that bit of lore. Alright, time to traverse backwards some more. I guess in some ways the animals are an interesting way of the game communicating to you, hey, you have or have not re-explored over here. Same can't be said for the glistening. Alright, so this is the midway, but can we shuffle over this way? Ah, well, we found the flower.
Tactile floor.
Fine. Really. Yes! Haha! Formal style. Alright. Formal style unlocked. All nearby objects discovered. Heck yeah. Let's get formal. Very cool. And we got the achievement, Costumier. Costumier? This is very... It kind of makes me think of Indivisible, honestly. Very cool. Heck yeah. Alright. Let's... We're gonna go back to Higgins. But not because I'm gonna re-explore Higgins, because I want to go outside of Higgins. There's a... Nope, not this way. The Brother Island outside of here that I want to go to. I'm hoping that while we're over at the Brother Island, we will spot the lookout.
Attends, bro.
Aqui.
On up. And just the contrast between the two styles of play here is amazing. Where you're just sprinting through it, borderline speedrunning with the brother, and then with the sister being so much more methodical. Oh, I meant to... Don't. Hold. Okay, so that's one that we've already gotten.
We're going.
Oh. Hello. Again, it just feels like we're missing a watchtower. Hey, that's half the relics.
Huh? Enata.
Is that the watchtower that I've been... No, we've lit that one. Have we? Which watchtower is that? Oh, it's that one. Okay. Literally just cruising around looking for tall objects at this point. It feels like there ought to be one just right over here, you know? Well, since we've got that one... Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we're good. Tell you what, let's do... We're gonna go back here. The Thwaites. But I wanna drive back a little bit and see if I can get any clarity from my telescope about where I should be even looking. Alright, so if I... Alright, so it's definitely on the lower half. Interesting. Alright. That is actually informative. That does actually help me quite a bit. That halves the amount of space I need to explore.
Kuchaka.
Yo.
Yeah, I like the formal. I was fully expecting for the formal outfit to be like a, you know, kind of a tux kind of look, and I was gonna be like, nah, that ain't me. But this outfit's cool. I like this outfit a lot. Right. Suspicious. Alright. Up, down. Share the wildlife. Will my telescope help me? No, not while I'm in it. It did look like it was kind of high-ish, so... Aha, what is this? Climber style, heck yeah. Well, I hate that I've spent the entire episode in not formal style. There we go, new flower. And that's all things discovered, right? Yeah, heck yeah. Well, I kind of think let's call it for this episode. Next episode, I might do the same thing where we don't actually have the flower marked on this one yet. So what we might do is sail out a little bit, try to zoom in, but that will be next episode. For now, YouTube, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!